there is some news out of Lone Mountain in the Vegas area. The temple, of course, plans are in. It's going to be 96 feet tall. It is a gigantic, it is huge.
That's taller than Fairview.
Oh yeah, no, this is the biggest one of all the ones that we covered. This is absolutely a monster temple, and it is going to be built. It's all the way through, and the planning commission, the zoning commission said yes. There was a lawsuit. It was dismissed. We talked about that, I think, last week. But here's a very interesting thing that came up. It says planned LDS temple in Las Vegas faces limits on light. I put the picture over it. Lighten. It's lighting is what it's trying to say. So super interesting. A Las Vegas dark sky ordinance approved this month would limit how much light an upcoming Northwest Valley Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints temple can emit at night. The law, affirmed on February 5th, City Council meeting, doesn't specifically mention the controversial project being built near Lone Mountain. However, it exclusively applies to its rural Lone Mountain neighborhood and in the, let's see, sorry, my slides are like disappearing, La Madre foothills area, according to the city. So yes, the temple would be impacted by this. And what does this new ordinance say? Well, super interesting to me. First of all, it says the lighting cannot exceed 4,000 Kelvin. I believe other temples, it does exceed that. I don't know a lot about Kelvin. Maybe someone in the chat can clue us in, but definitely have to be dimmed down. Here's the one I find extremely interesting. No lights above 35 feet. No lights above 35 feet. What? That is so interesting to me. A required light shielding,
But the lights can still be lower than that 35 feet and be pointing upward against the structure, right?
No, this is what we're going to talk about. The loopholes, the workarounds, but as it's meant to be, no light that shines above 35 feet and finally turned off between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. That's not going to work, right? So I was fascinated. I've been talking to people in the area to see what they think. A lot of people think loopholes and, whatever's going to happen. So interesting from the article, it says the church, which often refers to light as a religious symbol, does it? I don't know if it does. I think that's a little clue there on how they might deal with it, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's obvious, right?
Christmas it is obvious. I'm stating the obvious. I know. Had planned to illuminate the temple 24 hours a day. The church in a statement said it was aware of the ordinance and will comply. Well, there you go. So this is a temple. This is not the Lone Mountain Temple. It has not begun construction yet. It's a temple of a similar size. And I just wanted to see what it would look like if it was illuminated to 35 feet. I think that's kind of interesting, don't you?
Where is that temple? Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It is very interesting. I was going to say, where's that temple? It looks like a background mat in the original Star Trek TV show.
It does kind of, doesn't it? Yeah. I can't remember which one this is, but I picked one that had a similar size and height. So, okay. So obviously, there's no way they're not going to light it up to the top. That's the point of the temple, like the picture there in the lower left. And so what I can see is what you said, maybe the lights are affixed at 35 feet and then shine up. Maybe they can use that, some kind of loophole there. I kind of think we all remember the steeple doctrine, right? And when they need to use RLUIPA or some other religious workaround, they have to prove that what they want to do is the most important part of what they want to build. So when they wanted to build a tall steeple, they sent letters to their members and said, you got to mention how important the steeple is to us. We can't do what we do without it. That became Steeple Doctrine Gate. That brought Nemo from all the way from the UK to come and talk to Fairview and say, that's not a thing. I'm going to go on record right now and predict the lighting doctrine is coming, right? Pillar by day, fire by night. I can just see it now.
I am the light and the life of the world. We got it in Doctrine and Covenants 93. We got it everywhere.
Yep. Don't help them, RFM.
They don't need any help. All they have to do is just go to a little search.
Exactly. Anyway, I'd like everybody to watch out for the lighting doctrine, because I feel this is going to be something that the fact that it's lit is an integral part of our worship. And we'll see if that happens. So it's interesting there. I've been talking to a couple of different people that live there, and this is really interesting. This picture one of them sent me, this is a stake center where the light poles have been cut down. And it's been this way for about 10 years, this person said. And it looks like there were some lighting ordinances there, and the church did comply. They literally sliced their light poles off. So I don't know. I'm trying to find out more about this, but I just thought this was a really interesting picture because this is a stake center that's pretty dark because their lights have been sliced off for about the last decade.
But those light poles are coming out of the sidewalk, right?
They're coming out of the sidewalk. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what they...
Which seems like an issue on its own. Don't sidewalks have to be a certain width and allow for like disabled people and whatnot to be able to travel them? Maybe
you would think. I just thought it was a really interesting picture that maybe shows that the church is intending to comply. I don't know. And then, of course, I came across this post. It was somebody who lives in Lone Mountain. This is a gorgeous picture of Lone Mountain right there. It's just this mountain. It's just this, this landmark that's there. And of course, the church looked at it and said, aha. I know what'll look much better there. So this person writes,
I know what would look great in front of that mountain.
Exactly. I know what'll look great. So this person says, I get to enjoy this view taking my daughter to school. There's going to be a big building right here blocking this view in the future. I'll enjoy it while it lasts. Okay. So different people weighed in, of course, on the thread. And this comment I'm going to read is from one of the local church leaders. And this person says, only if you zoom in, lucky enough for all of us, the sky is large and expansive, and the views will continue to be seen just fine. It's a little silly to act like the big building you speak of will block all the scenery. My guess is you will never not be able to enjoy the view. And the picture is really cool. Thanks for sharing. So people just don't get it. On my drive to and from Thrive, because it was in St. George and I came from farther north, I can't even tell you how many temples I drove past. Here's the Payson Temple. And, this is a mountain here in a mountain range. I'm sorry, but having something ginormous lit up, that's it. The view, the natural look and feel of it is just gone. So we'll continue to follow, but it'll be really interesting to see about the lighting in Lone Mountain. I think that's pretty fascinating. Our next temple. One last thing I forgot to mention. What was that?
Temples. You were seeing all those temples. It's like you were spotting raccoons right and left.
I was. Did you ever play that game as a kid? Spot the license plate. If I would have had a temple bingo card, I would have filled it up just on I-15 for like 10 miles. I'm not kidding.
Yeah. It's just amazing how many temples there are. Obviously they're all needed and they're all running day and night to do those endowments.
Are they? Okay. Anyway, one last thing about Lone Mountain. This person had this idea and they posted this on social media. If anyone is in Vegas, we will be planting continuous gay flags on Lone Mountain for the open house and the dedication day. The community dissents. So their idea is once the temple's built and people flock to it for the open house and the dedication. This mountain is very hikeable. Lots of people talk about how much they love hiking up it and just looking out over the natural vista. Of course, now it's going to be like this looking out and then record scratch temple right there. So they're going to put a pride flag up there. And
continuous gay flags all the way up and along it. That'd be a lot of flags.
What they want is your eye to go up and then over and go, oh, interesting. So
yeah, that's the unfortunate corollary to the spire doctrine.
That's exactly right. That's it. The doctrine of the spire, the doctrine of the lighting.